Hello, welcome. It is the Daily Live Extra. I'm here on my own for about 10 minutes and then Baz is coming in. I don't know where Baz is. I don't know where he is. Probably getting a massage or getting his teeth done or something. Who knows? Who knows with Baz? He lives a wild life. And we'll wait and see when he comes in. The news today is Everton look set to bring Danjuma in on a loan from Villarreal. Of course, he snubbed us in January to go to Spurs. We all know that. But I think that's it's important that gets left in the past and we just move on. We need players. Obviously, this is a player that Kevin Felwell had identified. Had obviously done the work to bring him in for Frank Lampard, and now has gone back for him to get him in for Sean Dyche. Obviously, he's got Premier League experience, has been at Bournemouth, played 47 games for them, 15 goals, played 9 times for Tottenham with 1 goal in the league. Has played for Holland 6 times, 2 goals. Listen, it is what it is. If it's a straight loan deal, it's a straight loan deal. We need players in. We need a bit of pace, bit of power up front. And whatever's happened has happened, isn't it? 26, 27 in January. So, yeah, plenty of experience. Gone up sort of through the ranks as his career's got better. Obviously, very close to joining Milan this week. But Everton have obviously done the hard work behind the scenes to get him in. So let us know what your thoughts are on this one. I've seen people already sort of, if he doesn't do it or if he doesn't get off to a good start, then he's in trouble with the fans. I think whatever happened in January just needs to be knocked on the head. It is what it is. The club moved the goalpost on the lad. Frank Lampard was sacked between the days of him being a Finch Farm. For a player, Baz, there's a coffee here for you. How unsettling is that as a player? If you come in and do the negotiations and there's one manager and then that manager then gets sacked. So that's Baz. See. Are people going to have a go at Baz for being late? Like they have a go at me for being late?
Consistency.
So it is what it is. He's a player. He fits what we need at the moment. This might mean that, Mike Haston, the Mari Gray, leaving the club, and he's done an interview today on Sky saying he wants to be in the Champions League. I want to be a Hollywood actor. Shit happens.
He could still be.
Yeah, there's more chance of me being a Hollywood actor than Damari Gay being a Champions League player. I know that. What are your thoughts on this, Baz? Danjuma coming in. Big Dan,
Big Dan, desperate Dan. I think I said yesterday, didn't I, on the live that the Milan stuff had cooled and Everton were there in it. I did say something like that before the weekend, and it's the arrangement, the agreement was last night, and off we go. He's a player who's got.
Is that your?
Instead of here we go,
it was
right. I'm sure we had here we go first. There's not this fella that's turned up and just phoned.
No. I just want you to start just saying.
What should we say? Like, off we go. No, we need to come up with one. Something like, "Is right, lad." No, not off we go. Here we go was Everton anyway. Should never have robbed it. Sure off, Ned.
Something to do with a pond.
The dream is here. The pond is here.
Has arrived.
There you go. I think he must have a big set of bollocks on him. That's all I'll say. After what happened in January, but he'll come out and say it didn't feel right because the manager he'd had a chat with was then sacked. There was unrest and all of that stuff. So, from an Everton perspective, to get an attacking player in, we had Ashley Young last week, Danjuma this week. They're still working on another one. Hopefully that'll get over the line. And then we have to look what's next then, don't we? We might have to wait a little bit. They're trying to use up the loan market as much as they can. And that might mean being patient on a couple, as in waiting for things to happen at other clubs or waiting towards the end of the deadline. But if we could get, we do this one, do the next one, then hopefully from there we will, we can move on.
Bring like one in a week.
Be nice.
Just do that. But till the start of the
momentum.
season. Yeah, that's it, innit? Just get them in. Just get them in.
He can play anywhere across the front three.
Yeah, here's some stats about the player himself.
Let's have a look at him. 157 games for Villarreal
in total.
Oh, that's his career?
Yeah.
Okay. 100.
I mean, he's played 187 games in total.
Yeah.
So again,
tremendous
stat.
It needs me to do the stats really.
Tremendous.
What are his goals, Ned? I can only see it. 47.
61. He's got.
Is that league? I think they're league goals. All right. There's more to his game than them stats. That's probably the best way to look at it. He's got them, and he's got other goals and other games on top of it. But no, listen, a lot of people were very excited in January to get him in, and then obviously a lot of us blocked him. Some people chose to go down the route, and I love it. The pettiness of giving him stick every week when he wasn't playing. Listen,
you've got to live with that now.
They've got to do it.
They've got to live with that.
But a lot of them I have seen say, I'm going to apologise, going to unblock him and get behind him.
Yeah, give him 5 games first.
Get in, get 4 in the first 5, and then we forgive you. Yeah. I do think. You see, there's ones like Nonso that I think will move when Damari Gray moves. That kind of thing. I think that one, Wilfred Nonso, seems to be one that might drag on a little bit. There's an interest in the player to come to Everton. There's a reluctance from Leeds, I think, at the minute, because Everton probably haven't offered them the money they want. Yeah. So you'd have to be patient on some of them. If Everton have identified him and gone, we really want him as well.
Yeah. As
well as this other player who they're looking at. Then you have to just go with that, don't you?
Yeah.
But what this does, or what this may well do, is just calm people a little bit and go, well, it is a forward player, and we do need a forward player. He's got loads of tricks in his bag. He's powerful. He gets goals at times. And hopefully Sean Dyche and his coaches will be able to, get him working hard. He's got to be all in for the team now, because he's leaving Villarreal for a reason, despite having great numbers for them. I'm sure it was something like 32 in 56 or something for Villarreal, or something like that. I might have that much.
22 and 51 in all competitions.
Okay, so that's not all right. But just a bit less than.
But he had 10 and 23 in his 16 and 34 in his first season. I think the second season is where obviously he only played half a second season, didn't he? Played 17 and scored 6 in his second season.
So them numbers immediately, if he could translate them or transfer them numbers into the Premier League for Everton, already becomes one of our best players.
Yeah.
One of our most prolific. So there you go. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and there's a huge caveat there, but if he could keep himself fit for most of the games this season, we can add the players we're looking at, then I think the manager will have us fit enough. I think they'll have us well organised. It's up to the players, isn't it? But Danjuma, like you said, he's got to come in and want it, and he's got to come in.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, our fans will get behind him, and he won't have had this kind of support anyway. If he puts the work in and if he gets the goal. So it's up to him. What did you say? 26, nearly
27 in January.
All right, so
that's fine.
All right. So 26 and a half. He's at a great age, and it's about delivering now, isn't he?
Where would you see him playing? Because obviously he can play all across the front three, can't he? But he's right-footed.
I've watched him play in all 3 positions, to be honest. I think he's naturally more comfortable off the left. But I have seen him playing on the right for Spurs. I've seen him on the right for Villarreal. I've seen him through the middle for Villarreal.
What I would say is, though, I mean, when you look at that, though, McNeil, you'd think is going to play.
Got to, yeah.
So he might swap McNeil and put him on the right. Maybe. No, but maybe. And put him on the left. Or it'll be the other way around.
Yeah.
He could play up front if Dom's not available. But it does leave massive question marks about... Not question marks, but Gray certainly. And if you get Gray out and you get like 15 million for him, then
big wealth.
That's that's good news, isn't it? That, you get Damari Gray out for 15 million for him. That's good news. Playing in, replacing him potentially for nothing for this. But obviously, it's not nothing. It'll be about 3 million money, something like that for the season. But then it does leave the one that interests me is Iwobi. Because if he's playing on the right,
this is a first. Can someone clip this?
If he's playing on the right, where does that leave Iwobi in the way he wants to play? Because yes, we'll play with he likes having the sort of split striker. We've seen that already, but it's a split striker, not a striker coming back into midfield. It's a midfielder coming into the forward. And now Doucouré fits that role perfectly for what the manager wants. So where does that? I know there's never the perfect scenario. There's never the perfect.
You're the one that says this.
No, I know, but where does that leave Iwobi possibly fighting for that position then? For that sort of secondary striker role, playing number 10, whatever you want to call it, because it would figure that you'd have a three of Danjuma, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil. Now, of course, the caveat on that is Dom, and if Dom's not available, Danjuma might play up front, and then that leaves the space on the right.
Everton are after Bilal El Torre and
Big Bill
and Wilfred Montro, and they're after both of them. So therefore, you'd have to think Gray's going out the door for that kind of things to happen, those kind of moves to happen. If Everton were to get both, and I'd say that's probably unlikely, but if Everton were to get both of them, then you'd have the front areas would be occupied by Dwight McNeil, Nonso, Danjuma, Calvert-Lewin, Bilal Torre, and Alex Iwobi. So you'd have 6 players for 3 positions, which is what...
That's what football teams do. But can you afford to do that with Iwobi being on us last year?
No, and Alex Iwobi may well move on. Someone could come and test the water second, the last week of the window and go, well, he's only got 10 months left on his current deal. We'll pay £10 million for him. Someone like Fulham, or I'm saying that, the laziest link in the world, aren't I? Because he's from London. But, a London club could come in
Leyton Orient.
No, gotta have money. We'll offer you this. And Everton might look and go, you know what, we have to take that because he walks out the door. And if he goes now, there's a big chunk of money coming off the wage bill. He goes. The caveat to that, and people will rightly say, is, but then we have to probably then go and look to replace him again. I don't know. Maybe Stanley Mills then comes into that. Maybe Everton will look at it and just choose Torre or... You see, the way if it was me building this, and quite clearly isn't me, but if I was trying to build this with Sean Dyche and going, right, this is what we need to do, you're looking at who's your number 2 striker. Maupay, he won out the door. Right, so you can't rely on Neil Maupay. We didn't play to his strengths anyway. So you'd want him out the door. And then that in the building that leaves you with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's the only centre forward, unless you keep Tom Cannon. We know they want to loan Tom Cannon out really for another season before making a decision on him. Could be the right decision, could be the wrong decision. I don't know. Right, but if we put Maupay over there for a minute, stand over there, Neil. Still have your locker, but just stand there.
And he's dead fit.
Well, he is fit. Michael Keane said it, but then anyway, obviously Maupay could go out the door. So, like I said, we're back with Dom. Now, we got to learn from last summer. We can't just have Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
No.
And it even proved we can't just have one more, because we didn't have Calvert-Lewin and Maupay didn't do the business. And then we ended up with Damari Gray playing up front. At one stage we had Anthony Gordon trying to play up front. We had Dwight McNeil play a game as the he was a false player then. He wasn't even a false 9 when he first come in. He just didn't settle, did he?
Just was false.
And now is one of the first names on the team sheet. He done brilliantly second half of the season. So I think, and if you look at Sean Dyche, his squads over the years, even with Burnley, when he didn't have a lot of money, he used to have about 5 strikers. He'd have like Ashley Barnes and Jay Rodriguez. He's had Danny Ings. He had Vidra. He had Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Wow. He's always had a plethora of strikers, because he's not stupid, and he realises that they're the people who are capable of putting the ball in the net for you. And so Everton, if Everton were to get, say it was Bill Altore, say Everton could do a deal with Almeida for him, and he comes in right now, you're looking at him, you're going, well, it's him or Dom. which is good. He's 21, Dom's 26. Dom's injury prone. This kid we can mould. You've got a decision to make then on whether it's Tom Cannon, who's number 3, whether it's Danjuma, who's basically a right winger, left winger, stroke centre forward, if we need him to be. They might do it that way. They might go, well, he plugs 2 positions so we can get rid of Mopai and we can let Cannon go and develop, because we've got these 3 now for that forward position. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. The Alex Iwobi thing does become a conundrum, because we sit here, and not just us moaning, people moan to us in the comments, why have we got no money? Why are we doing this? Why can't we do that? And it's for reasons like this, where we don't know when to pull the trigger and go, we are going to have to sell you, mate.
Yeah.
Because we've just let too many run the contracts down.
Yeah. We can't... We can't allow
the caveat to that. If Alex Iwobi wants to stay, sign a new contract, then we deal. Then
we can't afford to allow someone who we paid the best part of £30 million for to walk out the door for nothing. We just can't allow that to happen again. That's why we are where we are. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And listen, we mightn't have, there mightn't be any issues at the moment with profit and sustainability, but there's no cash flow.
No.
And the only way you generate cash flow is by selling players.
Yeah,
or being half decent at running a football club. But the best way is to sell players. It's been typically our model for the last 20 years, hasn't it? Now, if you've got a player in the last year of his deal, and you have got other options, and the Mari Gray's a case in point. If you can get someone in playing this position for a year, and make 10, 12 million on the player, then you have to sell him. You just have to.
Got to. Yeah.
You've got to. And the way he spoke in the interview sounded to me like he was up for the next thing. Like he'd come to that part. Like he'd come to that part of his career where he didn't think he was going to. He didn't sound like he was going to sign another contract for Everton, even though I know he was talking about we've got to do better, blah blah blah. But it did almost feel like a staged interview to say, look at me, ooh,
yeah,
I want more. I've just played in the Gold Cup. I've played international football, and that's fine.
Can't have a go with him.
Everything he said, everything he said in the interview was positive, as in like his career and what he wants to do. But it was almost like, well, it seemed weird. Then it was like oddly timed. Why would you do that interview? There's like no need for it.
I think he knows he's got one, mate. To be honest.
So if we can get money for him after paying 1.5 million for him, then I think that makes perfect sense. And you have to do that, don't you? You have to do that. And as I said, if you can get the replacements in, and it's great, it would be fantastic to be sitting here talking for once about Everton, going, well, what do we do with him? What do we do with that player? We've got a couple in that position there. Do we really need all? That's like the dream scenario for us after the last few years. Instead of going, oh, can we play centre midfielder at right back, left back? Are the centre backs going to play full back for us and all that kind of thing? So it's the best case scenario, isn't it? But obviously that will only be dictated by if we get the players through the door. So let's get them through the door, of course, first. But it does. That's why I think someone like Danjuma is an interesting one, because he can play in multiple positions. It does give you the opportunity to go, well, actually now we can go. Mopai, Gray, Iwobi could all be sold easily, make money, and then reinvest it in the areas we need.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we're up to. We've got to try to spin this squad around as much as, a bit like Kylie, as much as we can. Without the hot pants, obviously. All out the hot pants, fair play. We've got to try to turn the squad around in a way that we can. And I think I said the other week when people were asking me, am I feeling confident we'll bring players in? I was like, absolutely. And I said that we know that there's people going out. And this squad could look very different come the end of the window, because you do have to juggle stuff. You have to juggle stuff. Yeah. It's as simple as that. And sometimes you can do it by just having pure money. And you're okay. You can keep spending and spending. We want to get to the stage. I think we've said this many times, and I'm sure loads of Evertonians have said the exact same thing. We want to get to the position where we ain't signing 6 in a window, where it is 1 or 2, but they're specialised, and that's where your budget's going on. oh, we've got this winger because he does this and this, and he's going to cost us a big, but he's, you know what, he's likely to deliver most weeks. You'll pay that. This centre mid who's coming in, our other signing, he dominates the ball, he does this, and that'll kick us to the next level. And that's just done, unless we get a loan late on in the window to freshen it up. We need to get to that place. Problem with Everton is, and we've been doing this lots of times, we keep getting to the position, where we're sitting down, me and you, at the end of the season, going, we need 7, we need 6.
It's like
7.
ultimate teams.
It is.
It is.
How do you build any kind of team, right? Any kind of team when you're continually chopping and changing every season.
Yeah. Travis on the super chat, thank you, says, "Is it the wages that is the main bleed of the club's funds? Because I thought the stadium cost doesn't count towards what we can spend." Well, put the stadiums aside. That's it's complicated. But the simple fact is the wages to turnover is far too high. It's a ridiculous strain on the football club, and it still is. Even though we've got rid of a lot of players, it's a ridiculous strain on the football club. It's far too high. It's over what people say it should, what football finance experts say it should be, and even what like FFP says it should be, basically. And it's about getting that down, isn't it? But the problem is, it creates like a chicken and egg scenario, doesn't it? You're getting rid of players to get rid of them. Obviously, in an ideal world, you'd keep maybe, I don't know. Everton might have tried to keep a Yerry Mina, let's say, in an ideal world. Lesser teams, whatever. But Everton have got to weigh all that up, haven't they? And go, well, look at how many games he played. We just can't afford to offer him anything. But the problem is that creates a scenario then when you need to bring players in. And the players then, you are trying to get players that other teams want. So how do you attract them? Well, you've got to give them better wages. So you're going back to that place of, well, we need you to come and play for us because we're desperate for players. What's going to make you sign for us rather than sign for them? Wages, mate. And then you put yourself in that scenario again. And Everton have got a little bit savvier on it in the last couple of years. The contracts being like a 2+1 or 3+1 and things like that. They have become a little bit more clever at it. But it's still that thing. And the flip side of that is, it's fine saying, well, we pay too much.
Yeah.
But we don't generate enough money. It's as simple as that. We are a football club. And we are in a period, as you mentioned, the stadium right now, where obviously we identified that we as a football club don't make enough money. So how do we make more money? We need a better stadium. We need fans to be at that stadium 3 hours before kickoff, 3 hours after kickoff. We need fans to be down at the stadium buying stuff. We need fans at the stadium, going there on a non-match day, going in the shop, going in the museum, going in the restaurants. We need concerts down there. But the problem is we're in that horrible bit, aren't we? We're in that bit where we're building the stadium. So we're spending money. We're spending money where it's like, what are we getting for? We're getting absolutely nothing for it, aren't we? We're sitting here, we're throwing money at it. We know the money will come, but it's not coming right now, and it's all come together in this horrible spiral of events which have been also the war, which is obviously, whichever, with anyone, like, it doesn't matter what anyone says, that has taken effectively one of our major sponsors away from us. I mean, sponsors, away from us. Our cash cow has been taken away from us. So, and the other thing is, which is COVID. COVID was huge for this football club. Everton's finances were on a fine line, and COVID came and just like all of us, we all have a lot of people live hand to mouth, and then what happens? A boiler breaks, the car breaks down, and suddenly you've got to find that extra money, even though it's not there. So you have to. That's why payday loans and all this things appeared, didn't they?
Yeah,
Klarna,
absolutely.
Klarna and all these things. That's how they basically started, because it creates a thing where you suddenly have to find money, or suddenly you have to spread your money. And at the moment, the interest rates are going through the roof. So if you are taking loans, your interest is through the roof at the moment. So all these things have combined in one horrible period of time to put Everton in this tailspin that they just can't. And what we're trying to do right now is trying to get out that tailspin. And obviously MSP money is going to come in and give us a little bit of breathing room. It's going to give us a little, and it's structured in a way that if we can't pay it, they get control of 25%. And that's, let's be honest, that's what they want, and that's what'll happen.
Exactly what.
That's what'll happen, because Everton know that. They know that. But it's structured so just right now they haven't got control, but they'll get people on the board and they'll get control of some parts of the football club, and that'll suit everybody in the long term. But it's just about keeping our necks above the water at the moment, and it is spinning all up. And I do feel sorry for the people who are having to do this and having to deal with it every day. It's been a long-term thing, and maybe if COVID hadn't hit, or maybe the war hadn't hit, we would have had that little bit of nice little buffer to deal with all the problems. You've got sponsorship deals, you've got which are falling by the wayside. The gambling sponsorship deals have just been thrown in the bin. So in the next couple of years, they're going to disappear. You're trying to find all this different revenue, but you're trying to get the best deal. So obviously we've just got rid of the boxed, haven't we? As the sleeve sponsor, but that was our first sleeve sponsor for 2.5, 3 years, maybe, because we were telling people to go away because they weren't giving us what we want, because we've got a value. So all these things have combined in just one absolute horrible period of time, and the victims are us as football fans. Victims are Everton fans who have to watch, because we can see it, can't we? We've seen it in front of that. We've seen the talent drain out of our football club in the last 2 years. It is literally drained out of our football and being replaced by players who are just not as good as them. It's as simple as that. So it's more than just like one thing. It's been just lots and lots of things. But what you got to say is, just to be fair, is COVID and obviously the war in Ukraine. You shouldn't have your club in a position where it's sitting on that line. We're not the only club. A lot of clubs are like that, but you shouldn't have you should have your football club run to cope with that.
Yeah,
because other clubs coped with COVID. They coped with it. They got through it. So, and we were the only one really who's in a position because of our sponsor having ties to Russia. So there you go. Good question. Booker's Visuals also on the Super Chat says, I think this is aimed at you, Baz. Okay. You're the new Doff. What is the first thing you do?
A video for Evertonians. Okay. Communicating straight away.
See, I thought your first thing would do is make sure there was the coffee situation was sorted. Like, you know what I mean?
But I just expect that. I'd expect someone to be in charge of that.
Expect it though. Yeah. You can't.
Can't be the first thing I do.
No, but surely for you,
who made the coffee? Was it Paige?
Paige made it.
I knew. I just knew nothing. It's nothing. Tremendous. I just knew it was you. I knew it wouldn't be Elvis.
But I knew it was Paige because I got one, because I don't really need one because I've got a massive.
I just love the fact that I said I'm on my way back in. Could you just put the coffee on for me? That's all I asked. I didn't say make it. Just lash your coffee on. Hang on. Just a machine. Hang on. And he came back to me. They're going live.
Sorry. I'm not being offensive to Nadia, but when I walked in, he was sitting there, right? Which wouldn't have been an issue. But look what he's gone on.
I know.
So I
don't understand why.
I told him to go and sit over there, because when as soon as I seen that, I was like, "See you, mate. See you, mate."
Yeah. But fair play.
Fully DH-gated off in his England top.
I've got no issue with
that.
I
don't mind. And he said, I'm playing footy later.
Yeah. I've got no issue. Yeah. But
I went for a run. I didn't come in my running gear, did I? Yeah. Fair play to it. Fair play to it.
Not a massive fan, but I'm not a massive fan of it.
But you still bought it?
I never bought it.
Okay, mate. Okay. All right, mate. You take clothes off other people. Fair play to you.
So, yeah, it would be. I mean, to be honest, if I'm being real, the first thing I'd do is just say, lads, do us a favour. Just load up all the players you've got on your list. Show me who you've been looking at. And when they just bring up Che Adams, and there's no disrespect to Che Adams, I actually think if Everton would have got him last summer, he'd have done all right for Everton. But I'd be looking and going, yeah, nah, this ain't happening, people. But I think when you come in as a director of football, right, I think the biggest thing, and this Kevin Thelwell I am.
Put that on an angle for me, please. Yeah. That's worth an absolute fortune. You can't just be put up like that.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. But if you're taking over as the director of football at Everton, who are you speaking to? Like beforehand, you need to. Frank Lampard's I watched that Diary of a CEO, and again, I like Frank. I'm not saying is he a good manager. Well, loads to prove there.
Yeah.
But he just comes across as a really nice fella and all that. When we interviewed him, he was dead nice and all of that stuff, right? He said what I'd do next time is probably ask them about their vision and where it all fits. And it's like, okay, didn't you do that for this? Were you that desperate for our job that you left them bits on the side? Because that, if I was going in, and I get you trying to get your foot in the door and then think, well, I'll do it like this, right? But I bet you Sean Dyche had some of those conversations before he agreed to be the manager. And if you then turn around, we were doing it, and I was like, what my role? What's it gonna be? Whatever.
Yeah.
And you were like, you're gonna be doing all of our player recruitment, and it's up to you. And then you started going when I pass you the check to sign off. Yeah. Oh, listen, no, my mate Key has been on, and this fella's better. I'd just be like, okay, there's my contract. I'm gone.
Isn't that weird though? Because I mean, I suppose, like, say someone like Frank Lampard, he was desperate for the job, and I imagine when you're desperate for jobs, you'll just do it. But we know at least one person that walked into that room and just went, no, I can't do it the way you want me to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and see ya, I'll have to go. You've got to be man enough. Sorry, that's the wrong phrase. You've got to be prepared to, for yourself, to say, no, I have certain standards or certain things that I need to adhere to as to be my own person, and I can't just do the things you want me to do just because I'm desperate for a job, because ultimately it'll end up in failure, because because the processes that I stand with aren't there. Because if you're going, like, if you walk in and go, well, we've got a director of football, but we let Kia do that's where you go. If you want me to be the manager, Kia doesn't come anywhere near this football club, or Bob or Rod, Jane or Freddie, whoever, they don't come near this football club. So, and maybe that's the issue.
I just think that I think if you're going into that position, you need those things sorted out.
Yeah.
Because how can you possibly do any kind of job seriously and to the best of your ability if someone just keeps going, oh, not having that, we're not having that. Exactly. So unless the caveat to this is when we sit down and you're trying to convince me to become your director of football, you say, you're in charge of everything, mate, bar player recruitment. We have the final say, whatever. And then I still go, okay, I'll do that. Because we are just assuming, are we not, that Everton, that Kevin Thelwell is the director of football in the same way that other clubs operate with one, same way as like Monchi will be at Villa, say, or the same as what Trixie Bergerstein's being at Manchester City, or whatever, the way Michael Edwards was at Liverpool. We're just assuming that that's how it was. And even though Michael Edwards, the caveat with that one is Klopp still ran the rule before they signed him.
Yeah, but it's a principle, isn't it? It doesn't. The thing about that is, right, it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter as long as it's agreed to. As long as like when Carlo was the manager, obviously Marcel Brands wasn't, like, he didn't have the final say. They worked together.
Yeah.
I'll get you. Do you want this player? Well, I don't really know who it is, but there's all the boxes he ticks that you. I'll have him. That's how it can. But as long as they are predetermined things that are signed off before you start, then you're fine with that. But if you walk into a room and you're so desperate that you say yes to everything, and then as you go along, you go, I didn't know it was going to be like this. I was like, well, did you ask beforehand? Did you do the due diligence, or were you too busy?
Due diligence, is that the word?
That's exactly what I've just said.
You did, to be fair.
Or were you too busy having Monday off? They're the questions, aren't they? So
it is very, very.
I mean, that's
interesting.
Completely on a different tangent, but there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't Bielsa I was talking about, but Bielsa did essentially do that as well, didn't he?
Yeah. On our Premier members, where are we here? Danny says 1 in 3-ish is better than anything we have who can play regularly. Connor says at least you won't have to make another announcement video if you didn't delete the one from January. It was well deleted, Connor. It was last in the bin. Brian says outgoings, Keane, Holgate, Gray and Kenwright. But you are consistent. That will happen, mate. That will definitely happen. Will all of them happen? I don't know about Michael Keane, I'll be honest.
No.
I think Everton are probably more likely to bring in another centre-back than to, after Holgate, than lose another one.
Holgate played last night, didn't he, for the 21s, apparently. But they got beat 1-0. They are obviously actively trying to get rid of him. Or he's trying to find a club, whichever way it is. But so yeah, they might.
Dad says, do you think it'd be possible to give us more email notice than 4 minutes you gave us today? Listen, we don't control the emails, mate. Yeah. The thing does, we're on at 1 o'clock every day. That's I kind of think 24 hours notice is normally is a decent amount of time. We don't control when the emails go out, mate. So Carl says, how much would you accept for Dom if an offer came in?
I wouldn't accept anything. I literally wouldn't. There is literally no amount of money I would take for Dominic Calvert-Lewin right now.
Okay.
Would you?
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Unless you brought me 3 centre forwards in. No. Where are we here? Dom's got 2 years left on a deal as well, so we're not at that stage yet. Jonathan Ricketts says Breuer is allowed to leave on loan. Yeah, and that's one I would be all over if I was Everton from Chelsea, because then that does allow you to let Tom Cannon go to Preston. You'd have Calvert-Lewin and you'd have Danjuma who can play through the middle. That might be a way to spread your funds. Breuer, to me, has got, obviously he's had an injury, so does that, but I think he's got a lot of good qualities that we could do with, but we'll see. Brian Brobby was mentioned last night, wasn't he? Ajax striker.
Yeah, Vinny. Vinny put that out quite
yeah.
late. Strange on that. Just a strange that. Give me like Kudus vibes. Sorry, the whole. But the whole like, well, we're interested, but you know, it's like, why does that even come out?
That's a bit strange.
Yeah,
that's a bit strange. Acor Adams did score again yesterday. I did tweet that last night. Someone put Baz up front with Danjuma. Why not? Why? Everyone else has had to go. Olds and J. Cade Cal. Yeah, Cade Cal. If anyone who watches us regularly will know that I banged the drum for Cade and Cal. Burst onto the scene a couple of years ago. Hasn't quite stayed at that same level which he came in, but 6'1", I think. He is very, very quick. Can play wide or through the middle at 19 years of age. Loads of time to develop. I would definitely have him. Paul says, oh no, sorry, who was it? It's Jay says 99% certain that Ross Barkley's coming back.
99% certain.
Still a 1% that he's not.
I've got doubts on your 1%.
There you go.
He's training hard. I've seen all his videos of him training hard. Looks good.
Yeah. Have you done? Did you do Travis a super chat? Yeah, the wages, wasn't it? It's the wages, the main bleed of the club's funds. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. We've just got to bob along, if that's the right phrase. Brian Bobby along. To see whether or not we can, how we can piece the squad together. If we can get the players in the right area, as in the final third, and the goal threats, then this team I think will be fine this season. How high it can go, the finer details will come into those moments. We'll need bits of luck at times. We'll need Dom to stay fit for most of the season. Yeah. We'll need McNeil to do what he did second half of last season. Decore, players like this. But I still think Everton can have a decent season. But the work can't end there, can it? The work has got to keep going, and they are still trying to work on another one. I think, like I said before, I think Damari Gray will leave, and that will kickstart another one, and it'll be like the domino effect almost. And that's probably how we have to do our business. But people were moaning last week, and rightly so, and they were fully justified. him being unhappy last week. Since then, Everton have got 2 players in. So, you know, Ashley Young will play a few positions, whatever, and Danjuma medical today. So, yeah, let's hope Everton can get the next one over the line, and then you'll start to see the squad take shape then, and then, you know, I think we'll see Mason Holgate go out the door. I think Damari Gray will go out the door. I think Neal
Big Neal
is looking for an exit as well. So if we start doing that, Gomez maybe, I know Gabamon they're looking to offload him anywhere.
Anyway.
Well, no, just he's go back anyway. No. So anyone who takes him, I imagine Gabamon will just go on loan. That's the end of him. Be lovely to get like 2 or 3 million for him, but I can't see anyone paying any money for him because he just hasn't done anything, has he? And if we do that, then we'll see where we end up. You know, we could end up in a decent place. The stats, like I said yesterday, the stats from last season defensively and, you know, with the midfield suggest Everton should really be operating mid-table. But if you haven't got anyone who can score goals and anyone to put the ball in it, doesn't matter, does it? It literally doesn't matter. We had a 25-goal a season striker under Roberto Martinez, and yet we like a bleeding fishing net, weren't we, for stuff, you know, trying to catch water in a fishing net. It was just the worst analogy I've ever used, probably. But there were holes everywhere. I was thinking, I could see the water running out, thinking, yeah.
But then I was thinking, the pond.
It's the dream pond.
The pond is gone.
Ned's put it into me. I'm sure last night
Inception.
he's done something on my phone, right? That when I'm going to sleep, it just goes dream pond.
He's Inception. No, this is Inception, this. He's put the idea in your head.
That I need a dream pond.
That you need a dream. He's had you off big time, you know.
Done me, yeah.
He's fully done you.
He's done me. Ian Fry says, how many loans are we allowed? We're allowed 4, Ian. 2 UK and 2 from continental loans, as they're called. So we'll have 4. So obviously we've got 1 in from Europe. So there's still a European loan available, and obviously 2 domestic-based loans are available as well. So that helps us that way. Elliot Greenwood has nailed it. Nedception, he's called it. I mean, if that isn't a name for like either a show or a film.
It's dark, that though. Feels dark.
Does it? Nedception?
Yeah, it feels a bit dark.
I think it's good though. I think it's a great thingy. Great. Ginello talking about Boulay Dia, who was obviously mentioned yesterday. 25 million buyout ends tonight at midnight. Sale must end tonight at midnight.
Flash sale.
DFS.
It's flash sale.
It is a flash sale. Danny and his flash sale.
Yeah.
I can't see Everton going for him for 25 million, to be honest. We'll see. Here, Sam says, who could we loan from the top 6 to help us out? Broya? Someone like that? Jadon Sancho? Alanga, if that doesn't develop to Germany over the next day or so, he could very well end up at Everton. We'll see. Baby Stingray says Neddy Kruger. Liam says the follow-up to Nedception could be called Petception.
It feels similar. Feels similar though.
Well, listen, a lot of people rinse and repeat for success. Adam says Dia is class and Salernitana are like the Everton of Serie A, and he scored 16 goals for them. Yeah, West Ham are close to signing Carlos Borges for £14 million. So yeah. Ashley says, which youth players do you think will kick on in the first team? Mills, Warrington, Koyati.
It's hard to say if they're not given a chance. I think Tom Cannon will go on loan. I think that
the walking Ned, incredible. Neddy is hard.
You can't just throw his name. Like the Nedception one is like, that's the bar. If you're not getting over that, then don't even bother.
I'll be
just
honest,
throw
the
Ned.
walking Ned is funny.
Yeah, that's good. I
That
like
is
that.
funny.
I like that.
Ned the Izzard is quite funny as well, I think. Dammit says, get Boniface in. Absolutely. Mathew says, hit that like button, fellow Blues. Thank you very much, Mathew. I mean, you're absolutely correct. Hit the subscribe button as well. Why wouldn't you? And we've got over 7,000 on More Than a Game, so get over there and subscribe to that if you're...
Right.
Well, in fact, we're on 7-1, so there you go. Lots of stuff will be going on there, so make sure you do it. Get over there. James W says scream if you want to go ladder.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
so
what
hang
it's
on,
about.
can we move on from the Nedisms,
Go ahead.
which is I loved? Who's the second one then? Who's the second player you're getting?
The second player is, he's 38 now, a contract. Look at someone like that. I've just said before, thereafter, they want someone like Nonto or a Bill Altor, You know, Dia was mentioned yesterday. There's all forward players who they're after, so we'll wait and see what happens with them.
Interesting.
You know, but it'd be great to get another one over the line, wouldn't it? I think that really wouldn't have betrayed the football club then.
Oh, Danjuma in the away kit tomorrow.
Imagine
it's the dream.
It's the dream. If Everton unveiled, listen, at this stage, if Everton unveiled Danjuma in the away kit, they've done well.
They unveiled it in his undies. It did, you know what I mean? Just, we haven't got any kit, lads.
Just got to be careful that he doesn't just leg it out to Finch Farm because someone phones him.
Imagine
Forrest Gump.
Imagine though the announcement video was just people holding them down. You just have to applaud, wouldn't you? You just have to applaud. Like a security guard just standing there.
You're not going out,
I'm going there, and he going, my name's not Danjuma, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I just need to go to the toilet. Can I just go out the room? They're like that. No, we've got buckets in corner. Don't know why they'd be rushing. Or I don't know.
Might take the time.
They could. Tom Blue says, why does every player Baz suggests go on to be good? The club needs to watch Toffee TV. Well, I'm sure, listen, I'm sure they sorted it. Let's see what happens. So, yeah. So, we're going to be going live in 10 minutes.
Ned. So, at the end of this video, right? At the end of this video,
don't go anywhere.
There's going to be a link on the screen. And if you click on that, that'll take you to our next live video, which is the transfer show over on More Than a Game. So you don't need to do anything but just click that. Just stay till this video finishes and just click on that. That's all you need to do.
If you've done that, you beat tremendous. You'll be joining us for another half an hour.
If you don't even want to watch, it doesn't matter. Just sit there. Just sit there with it on. Don't even have to watch.
It'd be
if
great.
You don't want to watch, just sit there. But just leave it on, and then YouTube will be like, "Hey, what's going on here? This new channel, they've got loads of people watching. That's weird, isn't it?" And then that you've done your job. You are responsible householders. Then,
I mean, do it on your phone. You can be
do it anyway.
Phone hole. You mean like after in your house, but you know what I mean. And Zola at Spezia would be nice too. Not sure why I ever hear any links with him. Yeah, a few people have mentioned Zola. He's 26 as well, isn't he? I think he had a strong season last season. There is people out there. Baby Stingray's come back with Ned with scissor hands. There you go. Sam just waiting to hear about the overlap. Hopefully we can go there with some players in the back. Barry P says, do you think our youth setup is heading in the right direction? Really difficult, mate, that one, because you don't see the fruits of that sometimes for 2 or 3 years. I think the Issy Samuel Smith one is a difficult one because I think he made his mind up a while ago to move on, and Chelsea have been sniffing around him. And obviously Everton got money for a lad that wanted out. They've offered him big wages, I believe. So, we'll see. Dammit says, why don't Villarreal want Danjuma? He fell out with someone at Villarreal, mate. Again, he's not perfect, is he? Far from it. It's up to him to come in. It's what I said before. He's got to be all on board, like 100% on board. Otherwise, this won't work. And it has to work for him and us. So, let's see what happens. Fenerbahce have signed Alexander Doku on a free. Fair play to you.
That's the next show.
No, it's just stay. Fair play. I'm not going to go into detail about that. Like and subscribe on your way. In fact, stay there. Like Pez just said, we'll be back again in
Click the link.
9 minutes.
If you want 30 more minutes
of
football chat and maybe a little bit of Ned movie mix-ups, stay where you're at. Just stay where you're at. Just press that button at the end.
AC, I know. I had a mail last night. I said in Sweden, he's Norway. Lillestrøm, Norway. Ned Zilla, Liam Mc...
Didn't.
Last night I was watching the MLS All-Star game and Sweden and that. I got me Sweden and me Norway mixed up. AC also says, excuse me, Acor Adams is fantastic. He's very raw, but 3 or 4 million, why wouldn't you try to take the edges off it and you might get yourself a player? We'll see. Right, like you say, Ped's told you what to do. So there's 1,230 of you watching now. I want to see 1,000 of you over there watching that one.
Yeah.
Because it'll be
It
good.
would be nice.
It'll be a good chat.
Would be nice.
Lovely. You're helping.
You're all watching this, and I understand you're all Evertonians. You want Everton news, but But you know,
something breaks over there.
When people say, "How do you cope with this?" Then people go, "Oh, you're like a therapy session for us." This is how we cope by just talking about normal footy. That's how we cope. But it'd be nice if you all came and watched it with, watch what we're talking about, because that'd be good as well, wouldn't it?
And we can just talk. You can have your opinion on anyone else. Aldrin, before we go, says just subscribe to your More Than a Game podcast. Least I can do, fellas. Keep up the good work. Much love from San Francisco.
Someone just put Ned. Redemption.
Ned Redemption. That's a good one.
It's not, but I like it.
No, we know he's tried. Paul, we're asking you to subscribe. The benefits of subscribing is the channel gets recommended more, so you get more views, which means when we're trying to get guests for Inside the Game podcast and stuff like that, the more likely to do it. The bigger the channel gets, the more likely bigger guests will go, yeah, I'll come and do something with you, or I'll do something with you. Yeah. So therefore, you're getting the content back. That's the benefits of it.
In fact, we've got a guest coming in at R2 who's coming in because he literally watched one of our videos last week and said, "I love that. I want to come and have a chat with you."
So there you
go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
There you go, Paul. I've explained it to you. I can't put it any more simple than that.
There you go.
If you don't want to, Paul, that's up to you.
That's fine.
That's you.
That's you.
But don't cry when Ned's the guest on Inside the Game. That'd actually be very good, I think. Be interesting anyway. There's the benefits of subscribing. Right, Bill and Ned's Toffee-rific adventure.
There you go.
There you go. We're leaving it on that one. Thanks very much.
There you go.
See you later.